The industrial heartland was once a stronghold for organized labor, but in the wake of Scott Walker's courageous and successful efforts to curb out-of-control collective bargaining in Wisconsin and Indiana becoming the country's 23rd state to pass right-to-work legislation, the spotlight now turns to Michigan, where in 30 days a union-backed ballot proposal could make the right to unionize a constitutionally protected activity. The right to unionize, in other words, unchecked, unlimited power that could overstep any reforms. Here now to discuss it is Michigan Republican Governor Rick Snyder. Governor Snyder, welcome back to the show. Some people are calling this an economic death warrant for the state of Michigan, and this is a very unusual piece of legislation actually on the constitutional ballot. What's your take on this? Where's it going, and what's your view?
Well, it would be a very bad thing. If you look at it, they like to call it the collective bargaining proposal, and I call it the back-in-time proposal, because it would really take us back many steps, because it would challenge a lot of great reforms we've done. Michigan is the comeback state in the United States right now, and this would take us a major step back.
If this thing passed, would this prevent emergency actions by the state government? There's some descriptions about school districts, small towns going bankrupt, even Detroit. Would this prevent any of those emergency actions?
Well, it'd make it very challenging. In fact, we have an emergency manager law now that's rarely used, but when it is used, it's a major help in terms of helping prevent bankruptcies and other challenges. And that's also on the ballot. But this proposal would actually override that and could leave us in a spot where communities might only have bankruptcy as an option, and that's a very bad answer.
So, Governor Rick Snyder, let me just ask you, what are the mechanics of this thing? In other words, if they get collective bargaining as a matter of state constitutional rights, does that undo all of your reforms, as you call it, the Michigan comeback? Does that give the unions power even over the state legislature? Is it that bad?
It would, in many aspects, take us back in time and give a lot of power to the unions in terms of the negotiating process and really wipe out a lot of the benefits we've gotten. We're the comeback state. We're making tremendous progress. We've gone through tough recessions before. It's a great comeback now, and we need to keep going. So that's where I'm really encouraging our citizens to get out there, look at the details of this, and vote no on Proposal 2.
All right. Is this going to bring out a bigger turnout? And the reason I ask is because I've seen some recent polls that show the state of Michigan a toss-up between Romney and Obama, and of course Romney had a great debate night. Is it going to bring a bigger turnout? Does it help Romney?
Well, again, it could bring a bigger turnout, and again, I'm a big supporter of Governor Romney, and I want to see him do well, because if you step back and look, Michigan's a poster child for what Washington needs to do. Washington's a mess, and we've shown here in Michigan and some of the surrounding states that we know how to balance a budget, we know how to pay down liabilities, we've done tax reform. It's a great comeback story, and we've done that in like a year and a half, so there's no reason Washington couldn't do the same thing with the right leadership.
Can I just ask one last question, again, to clarify for our viewers? You oppose this going on as state constitutional right. Okay, I get that. Where is collective bargaining now? Is it good in some places, not good in others? How does that work now? And where would the changes be?
Well, that's one of the things, Larry, when they talk about this, they call it the collective bargaining proposal, but I believe in collective bargaining. It has its role and its place. I've done it successfully twice now with state employee groups, and it works well in the context that we're doing it in. What this would do is wipe out a whole bunch of other reforms in terms of pension and other benefits, ways we're really reinventing Michigan in a positive way. So that's where I'm hoping our citizens turn out to say, hey, we've got a comeback going, let's keep going, let's not move back in time, which is what this proposal is all about.
All right, I get that. Regarding Governor Scott Walker in Wisconsin and Governor Mitch Daniels in Indiana, now they passed what I gather is tougher laws restricting collective bargaining. In fact, Indiana's a right-to-work state now, if I'm not mistaken. Do you want to go that far over a period of time?
Well, what I'd said from the time I started campaigning is I didn't put right to work on my agenda because it's a very divisive issue. And again, we're showing great results in Michigan, a lot of positive progress. What this proposal does, in some ways, it tees up right to work as an issue. As a practical matter, I actually asked the labor community not to do this ballot proposal because we're showing great progress and we don't need to be fighting with one another. This proposal tees up a fight and it leads right into other issues as you go through this proposal process. So I want to see Michigan keep moving forward, and I believe that's what all our citizens want, and hopefully that'll show up well in November by voting this proposal.
All right. Thanks, Governor Rick Snyder, Michigan. We appreciate it very much. Good luck on this effort. Up next on Kudlow.